Who's first on the list? All right. Welcome to UA2 Game Studios for a Milestone review in week 13. Life or Death. Welcome, Fisher. All right.
Unfreeze.
Yeah, I'm looking for that freeze button. Is that on this?
Got it?
My chest is fine. My chest is looking
Not
good.
being so tall.
I'll try. Hello, everybody. I'm James Fisher, project lead for Life or Death. This build, the team got a real good push in. We got a lot accomplished. Yes, I'm just going to let it get right in. We got our main hub area in where players will be able to purchase things, upgrade things. We have our blacksmith in along with a lot of other assets to actually build our hometown. We have markets with levels and everything, as you can see to the left, a little shrine, our houses in, and then we also have our main area where it's like the staging area when you're ready to play online, which is the tavern. So before you go into any match, you'll load into the tavern, sit down, do whatever it is you want to do in the tavern, and then we also gave difficulties for the AI and also polished up the AI now. So now, and added sound and particle effects, so when you actually hit, you also are able to block. So whenever you actually land a blow, there's the particle effects actually work. Sound, and we also have the win-loss in now too, where you can leave the arena after you win. You're prompted to exit. I should have said I have more live. Also stamina for when you're blocking, so that you can't just sit there in cheese mode. Let me get my stamina back up. Oh yeah, and rolling. We fixed rolling. Almost forgot about that. And we fixed the AI's rolling. Forgot about that too. Give this a second. Hopefully I don't die. Oh, there we go. So then the exits open up. And you can leave and you're brought back to the main village where you'll be able to, after that, upgrade and change anything you feel fit from your wins in the arena. Thank you for your time.
Yeah, always check the video. Thank you.
Okay. Hello, my name is Marcos Escobar. I am the lead for Rift Wars, the digital card game that we've been working on for this entire semester. This past sprint, we got a few things done. First, for our programming side of things, we managed to get a graveyard up and running for both players, so players could keep track of. Lynn's the one that broke the rule, of course. So we have a graveyard now, so players can keep track of what cards are gone, and they can figure out what cards they have left going for them, and they can strategize a bit better against their opponent, as well as put in some of the background programming that we need for some future updates. For art, we have some artwork played by myself as well as one of our artists on the team. Those cards have already been added to the current build of the game, and so far most of the cards look very nice as a result. For the final sprint, we don't have a lot of time considering we only have 2 weeks for the rest of studio, so it's just getting everything polished, making it look nice, as well as fixing any issues that we're having with the build. So collection, you can see all the cards have been added to the collection already. So here we have the new artwork for the cards. If we just do this a couple of times, I can drop some cards onto the field. Okay. That's not working. Okay, it kind of worked. I have to fix that eventually. But now the game keeps track of what cards have been killed and what's in the graveyard. So now we have a better idea for the players on what cards they have remaining in their decks. And that's it for us. Thank you.
Hello, my name's Ghost Stoner. I'm project lead for Gangs of Graffiti. One sec. So, throughout this last week, we worked on getting a lot of the multiplayer added into Photon to clean it up and get it working. We went through and James went through and started working on the art in the world to make it a lot less dull. Added around a lot of the tags and just spiced up the colors and all of that. We added in a lot of pickups. We have tank spawners now so when you flip your tank or it gets destroyed or something, you can actually get out and get into another one. We've also worked on adding in a whole lot of tags. Still have a lot more to add in, but you're able to switch them and able to select them and tag with them and all of that. One moment. Sorry. Okay, so that's not working. Yeah, so thank you.
Oh god, I look ugly today. Oh, there it is. Turn the sound way down.
Hello everybody, my name is John Cavassi. I'm the lead designer for Dawn of the Dreadnots. So this week it's been a lot of just revamping and making sure our current systems are working really, really well. Last milestone I presented a working build system with the system building all these different buildings and attaching them to the Dreadnought and them actually moving to the Dreadnought. One thing that we had to do that interfaced with our building system was our upgrade system. We have successfully been able to finish our upgrade system and our unit sort of building system. So essentially we've got buildings that can spawn in units, although they're a little bit broken. We've got new scriptable objects for units. We've got new scriptable objects for upgrades. And yeah. So as you can see, we've also added the tech level, mainly because in the game the tech level basically tells the player what they can and can't build. So let me just do that. Another thing we noticed after playtesting was that a lot of people were really messing up with the ship and getting it to go in all sorts of different directions. Of course, we don't want that, so we've done a little bit to really fix and stabilize the ship for now until we actually do more to fix the ship's piloting. That's the little camera thing. And so yeah, this is our build system working. It all still works. A lot of the stuff we did, again, was back-end stuff. For the next milestone, we plan to really go in and start building that content, getting that stuff in, and yeah. Yep. I'm not touching it. That's why I'm not touching it. Hello everyone, my name is Regis Jerry. I am the project lead for Looters of the Arcane. Most of what we ended up getting in this sprint is art. However, we did manage to get in some new types of sound effects. Oh, let's fix that real fast.
Here, you will be able to train on how you can accomplish your mission.
So one of our more British students, is kind of like the voice for the future, because in the future everybody would have an awesome British accent.
But you should be fine as long as you remember our company motto. Fight when you can.
And then he fades off in the distance. So we did get a new terminal in. We changed up the lighting for it because it wasn't drawing the player's attention to it quite as well as we were planning. And then we do have new sound effects for the doors. However, that's not the major piece for this sprint. For starters, we have a lot of new things in feudal Japan that kind of bring it a little bit more to life. So now we have these bamboo shoots in various areas, and you can move in between them. One of the reasons why this is actually a major thing for the level is the enemies are swords that kind of dance around, so you can end up actually hiding from them inside of there, and they can't actually get to you, so it's a good way to escape from enemies. Kind of adds a new dynamic for the level. And we do have the doll in. We're working on getting the texture finished. And this doll is going to be kind of a centerpiece for the level. It's going to be the main character that you have to interact with in order to actually either, one, find the arcane object, or two, gain some protection against the Japanese swords in the level. And then the final level that we ended up actually working on is Ancient Greece. We expanded the personality of the level just a little bit to be more mischievous. One of the things that we did to kind of show this off is there are hidden walls inside the bottom area of the map, sort of the labyrinth. And down here, what it's supposed to be is that the soldiers are going to be trying to keep you from getting to the arcane object. We still have our current placeholders in. However, what we're going to be doing is making it to where the level kind of tries to mess with your head a bit. We're trying to turn the player around without actually creating a new maze every time. For instance, like right here, the player would walk in, turn around, and then we're going to be placing in small walls in various areas. So the player would either, one, have to memorize the map, or two, have to figure out what the best path is to get out once they find the object. That's just one of the ways that we're trying to make the player interact with the personality of the level. Thank you for your time.
Okay, good morning everyone. My name is Rocky Vargas, project lead for Communication Meltdown, made by Monster Vault Entertainment. So, the first thing I'm going to showcase is the bar, because last time I showcased the bar, it was just a screenshot. So this time we're going to get an in-depth look as to what the artist actually accomplished. So these bottles and the labels on them were actually made by Andrew, and the bar was made by Victoria. So the big problem inside of virtual reality is the fact that you can pick up any object and you can just put them right up to your face, and you can see anytime that an artist is lazy, you can see all the details that they were lazy about, and that's exactly what we're trying to avoid. So they spent a lot of time trying to make sure that all the assets that they were putting out is of the best quality that they can possibly make them, just because of the fact that we don't want, once we release this game, we don't want other players critiquing us for something that could have been easily fixed. So you're going to see here that Andrew doesn't lift. Oh, no, I took that out. Just kidding. I apologize. So you're going to see the Monster Vault Entertainment logo, and you're going to see the bar that Victoria made. So we have working mirrors on the bar as well, so a beer mug, so you definitely want to drink at this bar. And the next thing that I'm going to showcase is the player model. So the player model is brand new. We don't have the floating spheres anymore. We don't have those white gloves. We actually have a working player model inside of the game. So it's just a lot more interactive for the player. And now we have the steampunk reactor. So last time I showed the steampunk reactor level, it was in through screenshots as well. So this time we're actually getting a full player interaction or player view of the steampunk level. So what you're going to be seeing here is that the reactor itself is yellow. It's not going to be blue anymore. So it's a brand new steampunk theme. And we also have brand new symbols now. So we have the easy, medium, and hard symbols. There's about 80 of them in total, thanks to Victoria. So the easy symbols are easy to describe. Medium and hard are a lot harder, obviously. So since the name of the game is describing symbols to your teammates, the harder it gets, well, the harder the gameplay gets. And these console rings were made by Josh and Schlegel. There's tons of console rings now, so the game is randomized every time, so you're not going to memorize where every single symbol is. You're not going to memorize where every crank is. It's going to be new every single time. And we also have brand new textures for them, and of course, they stick with the style match of steampunk. And then the next thing that you're going to see is actually the boss room. So, you know, with the new steampunk level, obviously the steampunk boss room has to be different too. So it matches everything else, just like everything. But the gameplay is still generally the same. So the boss is the one giving instructions on the second floor down to his employees, and the employees are the ones that are looking for the right symbol or the right button, lever, dial, anything to make sure that the sequence goes right and the steam reactor doesn't go haywire. Cool, and a little wave there with the new glove that we have. And finally, we're excited to announce that we finally have our Steam business account. So we're going to be releasing this game on Steam late December or early January, depending on how it goes, basically, once we implement the Steam features. Cool, and that's pretty much it.
Hello everybody, Todd Dickinson, project lead for SiegeBots. So for this past sprint, we've been working on a lot of behind the scenes stuff again, just because things weren't quite working the way we wanted to. So I'm just going to go ahead and build a bot real quick, just because I'm not sure the AI for the previous ones will work with the newer versions of what we've got. That shouldn't have happened, but okay. Just put it on there. So we're just gonna show off simple exploration. Again, the pathfinding things have been tweaked and changed, and it works a lot better now. The AI still kind of gets stuck in corners for weird reasons that we're working on. But yeah, a lot of the stuff we've been working on is behind the scenes. We've tweaked the state machine a little bit and have been working on AI and pathfinding. In next sprint, we have a lot of art available, just hasn't been put in yet. Like I said, they get stuck in corners sometimes. But yeah, that's what we've been working on. Thank you.
All right, everybody. My name is Donald Shepis. I am the team lead for Gray Area. Let me pull this up. So we've got some new UI art created by our lead artist, Kylie Adkins. Just adding in, trying to get the things that we've had in for a while that haven't added any art updated so that way they're looking a little better. A lunch into the new game. Michaela's done a great job of updating the intro storyboard cinematics. So that way we've got built-in sound effects, visual effects as well for the various components. So I'm going to talk a little bit about our pivot this sprint while this is playing. So we were putting a lot of work into the influence system, which is very dependent on numerous AI states and getting all of those components of our core gameplay loop to be as efficient as possible, so that way it's a smooth experience for the player. However, because of the limitation of resources that we have, we decided that this sprint would be when we pivot and work on a smaller system that has a little bit more gameplay interaction, it's a little more mechanical, so it should be more immediately fun for the player. And that is our disguise system. So you'll be able to go in, and right now we're set up so that it takes, you scan 3 soldiers, and then you get the ability to don their guise as a disguise. And then there's a little quick time event that you have to constantly keep up with as you're in this disguise to prevent it from dropping, which gives you both a new tool to sneak past the enemies in the level with, as well as just something that's a little more active for players to chew on while they're playing. Alright, and it's loading in the level. We still have some work to do with some optimization, but we have our new control system, so that way when you first jump into the game, now when we do a playtest, we don't have to sit there and explain the controls to the player, they just immediately have it available. We're still working on fixing up our animations. We're thinking we're going to have to move away from root motion to be able to sync the distance the player moves and get a couple of things like that working. I'm going to try and avoid getting killed, so that way I can actually scan 3 of the enemies. I'm going to lock onto this guy. So we still have our read mind. We've done some further iteration on the actual grabbing of the thought. That's feeding into the influence system. I'm going to try and scan 3 of these guys and not get killed, which is actually a lot more difficult. We've done a couple of steps to improve the lethality of our AI, so that way they're consistently killing the player. And that should be 2. As you can see, we've got some new meshes and textures in, as well as some updates to the lighting. It's just a lot of iteration on this level. And here we have it. So you can see that I am now disguised as one of the soldiers. In the bottom left, we have how much of our detection meter we have, as well as how quickly the bar moves back and forth. So the more you do things that are out of character for the NPC, the faster that will go. And as you can see, every time it hits and goes back without me hitting the space bar and locking onto that position, the value of our disguise goes down and we're closer to dropping it. Which I'm not especially good at this, but hopefully I can get to... Oh, I'm going to have to do this the old-fashioned way. But there you can see it's a lot more player skill. Now I'm having to manage constantly hitting this reticle, as well as moving throughout the space and trying to get to my area. We've updated our system so that way we've got accurate shadow colliders, so you're actually able to hide in the shadows like I just did right there. And then it looks like I've gotten past, so I'll be able to get to the ranch zone. So we've done further iteration in the ranch zone. We have some updated meshes and a little something I'm going to show. Oh, don't kill me. So yeah, we've dumbed down the AI in this area a little bit just because we're still going through the iterations. We don't have our sight blockers lined up. We've got some more work to do with the lighting, but we've got a solid kind of what we call first pass for the ranch, where it's now up to the kind of minimum bar of quality that we have. But over here, I'm going to use our telekinesis system. I'm going to start ripping off some boards. I'm going to chuck that one. And again, we've just started implementing this. It's control to crouch. So we've got to do some work with where the source for the animation swaps are, because when we go from one state to another, we're having a little bit of clunkiness with that. But again, we just swapped to this sprint, so that's why we have a little more work to do. But you can already see we've got something that's a little more difficult for the player to use, as well as we're doing some more clever things with our gameplay interactions. So now we've got, more than just picking up an object and using it to block line of sight with our characters. We've now got it to allow the player other avenues to enter the areas. We've got our victory condition, which makes it a nice little loop, so that way when we're play testing, players actually have something to accomplish and achieve. And then from here on, it's just going to be a matter of continuing to iterate on our systems, polish them up, and I'll bring them back up to a higher level of quality. And that's gray area for this sprint. Thank you.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Tyler Ann Cook, and I am the project lead for the JA game. Let's see. Formerly, or, as we like to say, Project Elephants. All right, so the main thing that we've been working on this sprint is getting in our other cities and towns, and then getting our map working. So as you can see, we're dropping into a new city here, India. So we still have all of our primary and savings and all of this. And then we also have been working on getting our health and morale system working, and so that was going down. And then we were also getting our settings and quit menu working. And so if I go in here, I can buy some meals, and so that takes money out of my account. I can also sleep, and then I have some events. And so this works. I can take the money from the lottery, and now I've got $1,000, which is really nice. Lets me go shop, buy some cool stuff. We do have some new art in, so let me see if I can find some of it. We've got some baklava, got some new food, so go buy it. We've got our tax rate here. On the back end, the tax rate can change. We just haven't gone through and changed that yet. So that's this next sprint we're going to go through and make sure all our numbers are good, balance everything out. So let's go ahead, use our horse, and use our map. So we are updating this map. That's a placeholder for right now. So we can sleep. We've got all the buildings working in each city, so I can pay my debt here. Deposit some money in my savings account, so we're good with that. I've got more shops here, so I can buy some more stuff. So exactly, everything's working in this city. This is Morocco. Michaela made this background for us, and she made all these buildings. Use my horse and go over to Scotland. And then we've got new buildings here. Alex Pabone did a really great job working on all these buildings. And then Jay helped us out with the bank. And so, and then Shep and Cameron have been doing a great job getting all this programming in for us. So that's pretty much where we're at for right now. All the buildings are working in each town, so it's just making sure that we've got all that polish going forward, balancing everything out, hooking everything up, and then getting it fixed and good to go. So quit works, and we are all set. Thank you, guys.
All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Nathaniel White, and I'm team lead for ACS, for game Aegis. Okay. So we've done a lot of work with the UI, and what really changed this sprint was we started using a lot more component-driven, rather than trying to program it as a very large software package, because we're all ACS. So the first thing you'll notice is we have, obviously, a UI. The way this is meant to work is players can independently create their own maps. This is purely for aesthetics right now, but it will have effects on gameplay later. You can place decor, for example, and all of these can obstruct the movement of units through paths. So essentially what happens is, wait, let me get a path. The enemy units can only cross pathable tiles. So long as a pathable tile connects to the edge, units will randomly spawn, and they'll move over to attack the player's castle. So I'm just going to go ahead and save this. And this menus, we have hotkeys for them, 1, 2, and 3. Our artist has done a lot of work to get all this art in here, and it's really looking great. Save. So we don't have models for the enemies yet, but as you can see, they are spawning at all the edges, and if I had more pads, more would spawn and come from different directions. They are automatically pathing along the paths towards the castle. We can place towers. We have a number of different towers, all courtesy of our wonderful artist. So what we've essentially accomplished this sprint is the very basics of a game. In the future, we're looking to obviously retexture a lot of these, put in firing animations, enemy animations, death animations. We're in the middle of deciding whether or not we want to have resources be based on units killed, or whether we want to have sort of resource camps, like this would be from timber mining stone. This would be a lumber camp for mining, not cactuses obviously, but wood. And the eventual idea is that maps are going to be community driven. You can create a map, playtest it, upload it to a server. We have a network expert, which I'm sure can get that done. And you can download and play other people's maps. So that's the eventual idea behind it, and it's really gone well. Thank you.
All right, another round of applause for everybody. Fantastic. And a shout out to your online contributors, everyone. Say hello.
Hello.
All right. Thank you for joining us for our Milestone review. We want to invite you back on December 14th, where we'll be live streaming our Greenlight Celebration event and seeing the final polish of these builds. Fantastic semester. All right.